Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving deep into the world of Virat Kohli today, specifically his future in cricket and beyond. We've got a recent interview where he really opens up about his plans, and yeah, there are some surprises.
Yeah, it's super interesting to hear him reflect on his career like this. We really get a glimpse into what he's thinking as he's going through this transition. It's a mix of ambition, uncertainty, even a little humor.
So let's start with the big question that's on everyone's mind. Is Kohli thinking about retiring after this IPL season?
He doesn't come right out and say yes or no, but he does say some pretty interesting things. He talks about this moment he had with a teammate where they both kind of admitted to feeling lost when they tried to picture life after cricket.
It's kind of wild to think that even Virat Kohli has those what now
Mhm.
moments like the rest of us. It's almost comforting to know that even someone at his level can relate to that feeling.
Exactly. And then there's this kind of cryptic thing he says about maybe not having another Australian tour left in him. And, for people who don't follow cricket religiously, Australia's always been like this huge rival for India. So for him to even suggest skipping a tour down under, it's a really big deal.
It definitely makes you wonder if this is a sign that he's seriously thinking about retiring,
Hmm.
but he also talks about things he's excited about beyond cricket.
Right, like the 2028 Olympics in LA, cricket's coming back to the games, and Kohli talks about Team India winning the gold medal. He actually paints a really vivid picture of it.
Oh man, that gives me chills just thinking about it. You can just hear the passion in his voice when he talks about representing India on that kind of global stage.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? We often think of athletes just focusing on their one sport. But here's Kohli thinking about the bigger picture, wanting to be part of a historic moment for Indian sports.
Definitely. And speaking of contributing to the future of the game, we can't forget about his support for the Women's Premier League, the WPL.
Yeah, and this is where we see a different side of Kohli. He's not just thinking about his own career, he's really pushing for the growth of women's cricket. He even compares the WPL's potential to like his own Instagram following. He gets the importance of visibility and he's using his platform to champion something he really believes in.
That's a powerful statement coming from someone with his influence. He doesn't just see the WPL as a tournament. He calls it the future of Indian cricket.
And it's not just talk either. He's been going to matches and speaking out in support of the players. He's putting his money where his mouth is.
Yeah, it's clear he really believes in the power of the WPL to elevate the sport in India and globally.
And, this kind of ties back to his vision for Indian cricket as a whole. He seems to recognize that a strong WPO is good for everyone. It'll create opportunities for women and make the whole cricketing ecosystem in India stronger.
That's a great point. It's not just about equality, it's about recognizing the talent in women's cricket and understanding how it can help the sport grow as a whole.
And this idea of building something bigger, for Indian cricket. It really comes through when he talks about India's win at the Champions Trophy.
Yeah, he doesn't just celebrate the win, he actually breaks down what made that team so successful.
Exactly. He talks about their ability to adapt. How they could change their game plan depending on who they were playing and the conditions. He even mentions this one match where they had to totally rethink their strategy at halftime. They came back with a completely different approach.
That's so interesting. It shows he's not just focused on individual talent. He understands that to win at that level, you need teamwork strategy and the ability to think on your feet.
And those are qualities that go way beyond cricket.
Yeah.
They're life lessons he's learned from being a captain and a leader.
Absolutely. And speaking of leadership, we can't forget about his journey with Royal Challengers Bangalore. 18 seasons with the same team, that's some serious loyalty.
It's crazy, right? He's been with them through good times and bad, always chasing that IPL title.
He even jokes about being the bridesmaid, never the bride,
Wow.
always getting close but never quite winning it all. But you can tell that this year he's really hungry for it.
Yeah, he talks about how this team feels different, like they have a new sense of purpose. And I think a lot of that comes from Kohli himself. He's not just the captain, he's like the heart and soul of RCB.
You can really feel his passion when he talks about finally winning it all with this team. It would be an amazing ending to this chapter of his career.
Even if they don't win it this year, though, there's no denying the impact he's had on RCB and the whole IPL. He's helped take the league to a whole new level with his energy and his commitment.
And that brings us to the big question. What happens after the IPL? Is this it? for Virat Kohli.
He doesn't give a definite answer, and that's probably on purpose. He wants to focus on the present, on giving everything he's got for RCB this season, but you can tell he's thinking about it.
It's interesting, right? Even someone as successful as Kohli has to deal with these big life decisions. It's like he's at a crossroads trying to figure out which way to go.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that, whether you're an athlete or not. We all reach points in our lives where we have to make tough choices, and it can be scary even when you're confident.
Totally. And for Kohli, there are so many options. He could keep playing, maybe try out different T20 leagues around the world.
He could coach or mentor young players, share all his knowledge and experience with the next generation of Indian cricketers.
You could even walk away from cricket completely and do something totally different. Maybe those travel adventures he was talking
The
about.
possibilities are endless. It's going to be fascinating to see what he decides to do.
It's like we're all waiting to see what direction he takes and how it all plays out. It really feels like we're watching Kohli enter a new phase of his journey. He's gone from this hot-headed young batsman to a captain, and now he seems to be thinking about how he can contribute to cricket even beyond playing the game.
Yeah, it's like everything's coming together. He started out just wanting to be the best, but now he's realizing that true greatness means using your talent to help others and shape the future of the sport you love.
It's really cool to see how his perspective has changed. It's not just about winning matches anymore. It's about leaving a legacy that's bigger than just himself.
And that's really clear in how passionate he is about the WPL. He understands that a strong women's league will not only help women cricketers, it'll make cricket more popular in India overall.
Remember when he compared the WPL to his Instagram following? That was a huge moment.
Yeah.
He's basically saying the WPL can reach millions of people just like he can.
And he's not just talking about it. He's out there promoting the league, going to matches, supporting the players. It's obvious that this is really important to him.
It makes you wonder if he'll be more involved with the WPL after he retires. Could we see him as a mentor or an advisor or even an ambassador for the league?
Oh, totally. He's already shown how much he cares about the WPL, and he has the experience and the personality to make a big difference.
Just imagine the impact he could have. He can bring in sponsors and investors and media attention. He could help the WPL become a major force in cricket worldwide.
And think about the impact on young players, both men and women. He's talked about how important mentors were for him. Can you imagine how inspiring he would be for young cricketers in India?
It's exciting to think about how much influence he could have. He could inspire a whole generation of athletes to pursue their dreams in cricket.
And what's really amazing is that even with all this talk about retirement and the future, he's still focused on the present. He's still so competitive, and he wants to win that IPL title with RCB.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not going to just fade away. He wants to go out on top, give it everything he's got.
That's the Virat we all know and love. The passion, the drive, the commitment to being the best. And that's what makes this whole conversation so interesting. We're seeing him at a crossroads, but still so present in the moment, giving his all to cricket.
This has been a really fascinating look at Virat Kohli's world. We've talked about his thoughts on retirement, his vision for Indian cricket, and just his incredible love for the game. But as we wrap up, I'm left wondering, what will his legacy be?
Well, only time will tell. But I think his legacy will be about more than just runs and trophies. It'll be about how he's inspired people, the barriers he's broken down, and the impact he's had on so many lives. He's shown us what it means to be a champion on and off the field, and that will last long after he stops playing.
That's a great way to put it. And with that, we'll leave you with this thought. Keep an eye on Virat Kohli because his story is far from over. The next chapter is just beginning, and it's going to be just as amazing as everything that came before. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.